go. Oh, we might be all right for a couple of seconds there. Now then, people, welcome back to the White Rose Rivals podcast. I will be doing this in and out because my Wi-Fi is sketchy. As those that joined me earlier on the press conference reaction will have seen how sketchy it got towards the end. Someone said I was looking like I was James Bond N64 graphic vibes. So I might just do this for a little bit. Welcome back, everyone, to the White Rose Rivals pod. As you can see, we've got a new face with us, Ryan, from to Hull and back. As Cossie coined him, the Jimmy Bullard. Jimmy Bullard.
Cheers,
Ash with us as well. Yeah, no worries, man. Ash obviously can talk to us about Chansiri, and everyone's favourite Huddersfield fan, of course, it's Cossie, who's a bit of a singer. I'm led to believe a bit of Cossioka. I need to get that video, actually. Where is it? I need to go find that.
Sober karaoke, mate. I don't drink anymore. So this was my first venture into karaoke without a drink, and yeah, the evidence was damning. But you know what, Joe? God loves a try. I was trying to go to a high. It's a disaster.
Trying to go to the high notes, yeah.
But a barricade, yeah.
Luckily, I was in a place where like time stood still, so you see behind is a mixed audience reaction. But yeah, God loves a try though, Joe. But 5 out of 10.
Well, yeah. We're gonna have to play it for the people, aren't we? To be fair. I have managed to locate it in the messages, so we'll have to we'll have to let people hear. Surely, 1 second.
ABBA are suing me. I've got legal papers served on me by ABBA.
What, for murdering a song?
Let me.
Anyway, we talk football first, please.
Before we do, Cossie, this is the perfect way for us to start off. 1 second. I think my Wi-Fi is sorted out.
Let's hope Let's hope it's not. Please.
Here we go. Right, let's.
Oh, this is an old version. I would joke then. This is not for last week.
Give over, was ya?
No. I think.
Is there a different one? Is there?
Yeah, there is. Oh no, he's got it. Here he is. We just got
a Stone Cold Sober on that one, yeah.
Mate, we just got a point against Rotherham 0-0. This is what it does to your League One, mate. See, if you go into League One, you'll turn into this, Jimmy. I'll tell you what.
Can you not hear it? No.
It's not very loud now.
Oh, there we go. Here we go.
Yes, good audience reaction, isn't
there? We're not even asked, have we, Cossie?
Oh, man. Joe, thanks for coming. That's what a 0-0 get home to Rotherham, mate, does to you. You just said
it's a big X from me. I'll say it's a no.
Oh, no. What's that? Definitely. Wow.
It was a beauty. Right. I think we might be getting joined by Matt a little bit later on. Hal was supposed to be on tonight, folks, but had to head off because Sheffield United have just signed Tom Cannon, so wants to live react to that. But we haven't done one now for 2 weeks, I don't think. So let's come over to Lash, because in that time, there has been a bit of a... Look, you're only 2 minutes away, aren't you, from a Chancery meltdown? I think the best part was him saying Shea Charles is staying, goes out for a phone call, comes back in and says, no, actually, they've recalled Shea Charles. So do you want to tell us about that debacle that was that fans forum, mate?
Yeah, fans forum, Sheffield Wednesday style, Chancery style, what can I say? Like, you know, when you do something and it was a shit show, you hated it, so it wasted 6.5 hours of your life. That was me last time, and I still went last week again for another 6 hours.
Is that how long it's for? 6 hours?
Yeah. You have to get there for 6. You have your pie and peas. Starts at about 7 o'clock, and then it went on till about 12:30. I think they finished. So
wow,
yeah, and he probably answered about 4 questions in that. Because he does rant on a bit, he does go off. So I think the first thing that for the Shea Charles situation was that he came out with, and I can't remember the exact phrases, but they were all over social. Something like, he's not good enough for Southampton, that's why we've got him, which is not great, is it? Thing to come out with, that he's not good enough for a Premier League team. And then it was all, I think the recall finished at 12 midnight. I think they had to recall him by 12 midnight. So no one heard anything on social media. You know, it should all be then. And then I think he went out of the room on his phone, come back about 12 and just went, yeah, they've recalled him. And that was it. And then obviously all Twitter and all social media had it. So yeah. I don't believe that it was through any comments that the owner had made in that fans forum about Shea Charles.
No.
We really don't know. Personally, I think it's just that Southampton we desperately need him. He's been the player of the season for us by a country mile. And I think Southampton have just gone, we'll recall him. And if you want him, you're going to have to pay more and contribute more to his wages. And we're in one of those where we really do need him. So it's going to be. And then I think today it's been reported that we had till 5 o'clock to get it all sorted. So nothing's come out of that yet. So
so what I just want to slap in there as well. What was the fans' reaction like then when this news gets announced? Is everyone talking amongst themselves, or what? How does that go?
Well, there was. I can't remember how many there were. I think there was about 100 people in the room. But at this time, it dwindled down to the hardcore of either Chancery haters or people who've got nowhere else to go type of thing.
Yeah. Which side did you sit on, mate?
I left at about 11:30, so I didn't do the full. So I was on my way home at when the news broke, which is a bit disappointing because I'd like to be in there. So I don't exactly know what the live reaction were. I'm sure it was probably shock more than anything at the very late recall, because I think a lot of people were thinking, not heard anything. It's a done deal. He's staying. They're not recalling him. And for the owner to come back after having a phone call and a cigarette, probably the way he delivered it in his probably invincible style of that. So yeah,
he's so much like Cellino, you know. He's so much like Cellino. Like Cellino would have long presses and go off and have a fag and then come back. He's a bit of a madman like that.
It was a lot of fans said, why are we calling this? Well, why did he call this fans forum in the first place? Why are you doing it now? We're a couple of points off playoffs. We've got a great manager. He's just turned down the chance to go to Southampton, or if you believe some reports that he was interested in going, but Chancery said, no, you've got to pay the full amount, which is 5 million, I believe, and they come back with less than that. So he stuck to his guns. And it was some good feeling around the club. Still some people that obviously want the owner out, and they've got louder and louder in the last couple of weeks. And it was just why are you doing this? It's middle of January. We've got an important transfer window for Danny Rule, and it was just a shite show. The whole lot. Some of the questions that were asked were fair enough questions from the fans, and the way he was it was like belligerent. I think that was one of the ones Dan off our podcast did. That's how he described it. But he'd answer or try to answer questions, but then he'd be looking at his phone. And don't get him wrong, he's a busy guy, no doubt, but it was very disrespectful for fans that had paid as well to be there. Yes, it's got donated to charity, which is fantastic, but people gave up the time and quite a lot of time to be there. And he just, a couple of the answers to the questions was, do you own a business? I'm like, fans are going, no. And he kept going on about, do you own a business? You own a business. And I was like, no, well, you do, but you don't run it very well. So I wouldn't say that. So it was just bad timing, ill timing, and some of the stuff that come out of it obviously did Sheffield Wednesday no good at all.
No.
You wouldn't have him as your best man, would you?
He would definitely be on low on the list.
How do you think it'll go down if Shea Charles does go to Sheffield United? That's gonna sting, isn't it?
Of course it is. Any player that goes from Wednesday to United or United Pip Wednesday to any player, it will be. I don't believe he will. I don't believe they need him, for one. I mean, we're desperate for him, and I don't believe Sheffield United need him. I am confident and hopeful, more than confident, that he will stay. But yeah, you don't know, do you? I said this last night to one of the lads at the game, and it was like, would Southampton look like the game relegated? It does look that. So should they not have a player that is playing outstanding football for a mid-table team at the minute, and he's going to play every minute of every game to get ready for keeping them next season? Recall him. They've got a championship player. He played 30-odd games from last season there. He's going to play 30-odd games for Wednesday if he stays. Then recall him and either not play him at Southampton in the Premier League or send him out somewhere else that there's no guarantees that he's going to continue that great form. So, and play as many minutes if he goes to a Sheffield United or goes to a higher, you know what I mean? So I was thinking and obviously hoping that Southampton would look, keep him at Sheffield Wednesday. We know he's going to play virtually every game, and he's going to get that game time and more experience for us for next season. So that's my wishful thinking.
That's fair. Yeah. Also staying with you, Ash, you were beaten comfortably by the Mighty Whites, top of the table.
So back to Chancery, right? So,
do you know what, though, mate? We all said it after the game, and I know it might. It wasn't a 3-0 game. The scoreline massively flattered us. I do think we deserved to win. But the 3-0 scoreline was probably a little bit unfair, but it was quite refreshing from a Leeds United fan's perspective to see someone come and have a go. And I thought you played some decent stuff at times. I thought the left winger, I think it was Gassama, not Masaba. It's one of them. I always get them mixed up. Yeah, he played really well. He played really well, and you were missing Iorfa as well, which obviously is a big miss. But I thought you did well, and obviously Danny Rose, I think, doing wonders with that squad because the players aren't great. And I think the biggest thing for you is just trying to keep hold of him in it, really.
Yeah. I actually did watch this one, Joe. I did actually sit down and watch it. Hey, you know what I said last time? I did. The ironing was safely tucked away. The car was going to get washed, but no, I thought I'll sit down and watch it. And yeah, gutting to go down at third minute to well, I mean, we had discussions on our podcast about James Beadle's goalkeeping, defending as well. So we dissected that, but not away to Leeds and you go down 3-0, go down 1-0 in 3 minutes. It's not good. But personally, I thought we were a better team for the next, certainly the next 40 minutes, rest of the half. Yeah. And then maybe 10 minutes into the second half, where I think Leeds did come back into it. And I don't believe it were a 3-0 game at all. If it had stopped 1-0, I think it had been, yes, 1-0, we've lost, but it was great. But the scoreline did not reflect the tale of the game. But Tanaka's cheeky finish at the end probably just put the icing on the cake for Leeds. And I was, yes, you've lost 3-0 to a Yorkshire rival. I was pretty pleased with the application of the football. Like exactly what you said, Joe. We went to Leeds and we didn't just soak it up. We didn't just sit there, and especially going 1-0 down so early. So I was pretty happy with that, to be honest. As happy as you can be with 3-0 loss.
Of course, yeah. You just missed out on 3 points last night as well. A late equaliser, I think Bristol City on 86th, was it?
Yeah, dog shit, mate. Absolute awful. 1-0 up. Gassama again with a great goal. He is in some good form. He is. Straight after half time, equalised. And 5 minutes later, we went back ahead. And then from then, it was Danny Roll made some what's been described as absolute awful substitutions, and he took Shea Charles off at half time. He was on a yellow card, and he took him out, and you can just see straight away how important he is for us. And it's really, when he's not one of your players, so reliant on a one player, and he's not yours, is pretty sickening as a fan. It was the substitutions. I mean, no disrespect, Liam Palmer has been a great servant to the club, but he wasn't starting in the Championship 10 years ago, and he's coming on for Shea Charles at half time, and it wasn't his fault in any of the goals or anything like that, but it's just the lack of depth in our squad, especially having to make changes is not good. And we just camped on our 18-yard box for the last 20 minutes, and it just came. And Marvin Johnson was absolutely shocking at left back. Stop the cross is the first rule. He didn't even bother going to the man. Do you know what I mean? And the cross came in, and it was a header. Beadle could have done a bit better, but it was coming anyway. So disappointing, 2-2, and we had a good chance. So.
Ash, you know what though, mate? That press conference, I was looking at you thinking, you always look thinking at Christmas time or just after New Year, who could come with get into them playoffs, because it's kind of an open forum. And as soon as I heard Cham Sady with that press conference, I just thought it's done. I could not believe what I was hearing, mate. Well, he probably could really be in, but the breakdown, I mean, I hate anyone watching a dirty lane in public. I've never been a fan of that, but you're doing well, mate. To hear that there's no relationship and they haven't talked for like a month or something, but unbelievable. Flabbergasted, mate. Because I'm thinking, if we could just get the signings right, maybe they could sneak in there. Maybe they could get that miracle promotion kind of thing from where you were like 12 months ago when you were battling with us to stay up. And then I hear that Shea Charles. And honestly, mate, I just kind of woke up like that. It carried on, like I said, past midnight. I'm thinking, Sheffield Wednesday finished this season. And it's really sad to obviously Roll can produce miracles as we've seen already. But honestly, as a fan, I would be, it must be so frustrating, mate, because, you were just on that fringes, and I'm thinking, just all it needs is one or two smart purchases, or at least everyone on the same page, mate. And what is going on? So to me, Danny Roll's stock after that went even higher, mate. The season we're done after that, mate. And obviously, there's a lot of football to be played, but it just makes me sad, mate, when that, because you're building something good, and the chairman want to encourage that, not encourage that.
It's crap. It's unbelievable what an owner can do as well in terms of stalwart in a season. I mean, do you remember? You lads remember 19 to 20? We've got Jared Bowen on one side, Kamil Grzycki. We're a point out the playoffs. We get rid of them two. The Allams met some comments. Get relegated. Won one more game. Yeah, man. It's madness, isn't it? And I really feel for you, because obviously there's that little rivalry between us Yorkshire teams. But when you're up, I'd rather you get the place than like one of the Lancashire sides, or do you know what I mean? And it's just a bit more interesting. But to see your owner just actively shooting not only the team but himself in the foot, you want to pull your hair out just because it don't make no sense.
He's been.
At least you've got some hair to pull out. Sorry, Ash. At least you've got some hair to pull out. Oh dear, Patrick Stewart here, mate. Beam me up.
Is that what doing to support another field this year?
In 1920s, I was like that, mate. Big afro.
Valderrama, they were calling
it. We've talked on this podcast about a few times about statements that the owners made, like just out of the blue, and he's been quiet for the best part of 12 months, even a bit longer. And obviously, yeah, we survived last season when we started this season really well. And like I said, we were a couple of points off playoffs, and he's not said anything. He's been quiet in the background, and now he's come out with this, and it is as a fan, you do, don't you? We've got probably one of the best potential managers we've had for donkey's years
in the country,
in Danny Roll.
Definitely.
And it's
highly
not,
rate
and it's gonna down to. I don't want to, but it may be down to the owner and his actions that think. Because it was like a question was at a fans forum. When was the last time he spoke? And he was like, I think it was December. Someone said it's like December, but and then the next question was, has anyone come with you with a transfer list? So targets. Have you got a list of targets? No, we've not spoke. And this is like, what is it, 12 days into the transfer window, and they've not even spoke about targets or persist. And it's just the way. But you don't always believe him either. Do you know what I mean? There's the stuff in the past that's happened, and he's come out with things. It's like, do you actually believe him, or is it he's not spoke to him, Danny Rule direct, but there's a recruitment team. There's like advisors, and think that the manager might have gone to them, and they've gone to. So there's the link in between the manager and the owner. But he's like, how he comes across is like, yeah, I've not even spoke to him for a month.
Yeah.
He's got main character syndrome, and main character. You know, if it's going well, it's somehow I want to make it about me. Do you know what I mean? We've all had them. I think sometimes, like even Radrazani, when we had Bielsa, it was like we should be grateful to him more so than Bielsa, and he didn't. You know, it was like, oh, make it about me. I was the one that brought him here. I saved you, and it's like, just stay in the fucking background, man. We're grateful for what you've done, but we don't need to hear. Really, you shouldn't have to hear from your owner, I don't think. Do you know what I mean?
It makes you wonder, Joe, what is he there for? You'd love to chat, sit him down in a room. He'd probably tell you all the bollocks, but it's like, mate, why are you in Sheffield? Like, what is the reason? Because you see the same in Valencia, like going to Spain. That's just been a shit show with that Peter Lim, mate. It's like a brilliant club like that on its arse, and it's like they're probably going down this season. It's like, why are you there? You're getting abused. You're doing everything you can to not get this club going forward. And he's just saying with Chansiri, which it's just really weird because, like, Roll, he's kept his class all along, though, hasn't he? Because some other managers, I don't know, Warnock type or a Big Sam or someone back in the day, they'd have come out. Well, Warnock did that with Aaron last year, and then he moved him on. But you wouldn't have known there would have breakdown in communication. You'd think, oh, they've had these chats, and then for Chansiri to say that a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, Brucey walked, didn't he, from us?
Yeah. Well, and he left us as well. But they were a little bit of a couple of games after the Southampton rumour. There was a couple of press conferences after the games that Danny Rule seemed pretty pissed off. He weren't as, do you know what I mean? Just something about him, and I think that you can read into whatever, can't you? That there was something happened with the Southampton and him either not being able to be talk to them, or Chansiri putting his foot down and obviously saying, if they pay you $5 million, which is the rumoured thing, then you can go. And Southampton, so I think he might have been a bit peed off. But thing is, though, he agreed to that.
Of course, it's fair.
That he agreed when he signed the new contract in the summer to that amount of money for like a release clause. So you can't. You can never believe it, can you? With Chansiri, it's never a dull.
Ash, were you playing Saturday?
QPR away, who aren't in good form or anything, are they? Jesus.
Trouble is, you get a win there, and it's like the hopes that kill you, and windows shut, and you think you can. But honestly, mate, what a show
we do need probably 4 or 5 players. Yeah. And what we're talking? Where are we on? We're on 10 days left. Is it something daft like that?
There is still a chance. It's 3rd of Feb, isn't it? I think so. There's maybe 2 weeks. 3rd of Feb, but there is still a chance you could get playoffs as well, though, Ash. Right?
Yeah,
if you get them players,
there is. Of course there is, but I don't want Hal to have a go at me saying I'm not. What did he say? I'm settling for.
Yeah. Les Dennis got Amanda Holden back in the day, so anything's possible, Ash.
From what I thought at the start of the season, we are exceeding my expectations at the minute. And yes, of course, we are 2 points 4 points now, actually, pardon, from last night's result. Out of it, so nowhere near out of it by a country mile. So yeah, if you get a couple of players in, then why not? But does Chansiri would want to spend that money, roll the dice with the best manager he'll probably ever have under him? That's got to wait and see, don't we, till end of window. It could be lastminute.com, the last day that we get 2 or 3 people in.
It'll be loans, won't it? He won't spend cash, I don't think.
No,
I don't even know.
No, we've spent money on Ugbo, which looks like it's been not the best investment.
No, it hasn't for sure. Let's big up. Wow, we've done 25 minutes on Chef Wednesday.
Sorry, I'll shut up now.
You need it.
Done more on it than our podcast.
Just cut it out, Joe. I mean, Ash, and then forget your podcast. Have a night off, mate.
Let's move it on to Ryan then. Ryan, another, I mean, it's not going great at Hull, is it? But first, before we get into that, I want you to tell me about Joffy's wonder debut strike, by the way. What a goal that was. I know you didn't win, but go on.
I couldn't see it coming, because, I mean, obviously, you see I tell you what, he had a great game as well. I just want to say, like, that strike wasn't just the be-all and end-all of his performance. He looked like he had that drive going forward that we haven't had. And I don't know how much you lads have watched us this season, but on that right-hand side, we've constantly had Kamara, there's a player in there, but it's one you just want to check him up and down and say, just put the hard yards in and they'll reward you on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? So to see Gellert running his socks off, keeps the ball very close to him as well, doesn't he? He looks like a really impressive player. I really enjoyed watching him. And that goal, it just topped his efforts off. And I mean, I don't think anyone in the ground expected him to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, to go for that lob outside the box, you think, fair play, lad.
Yeah, it was a decent strike. As to be fair, there was some Leeds fans saying we should recall him, which is a bit mad because he's never getting game time at Leeds. But obviously first time on here, Ryan. So what have you made to Hull season? Because I always make this jibe, but Liam Rosenior obviously not being there now. I know it was different. She spent in January and all that sort of stuff, and probably was just stagnating a little bit. But you've gone massively backwards, right? And I know you've had a change in manager, but talk to us, mate. Talk to us.
It's crazy. I mean, I tell you what, I think there's a fence that a lot of people are sat on, and I think it was the right decision-ish to sack Rosenior, but I think to go, it sums up the fact that we've signed 58 players in 3.5 years. Well, 3 years. It just, everything about it's so spontaneous. Do you know what I mean? And just to get some random bloke who's never had any championship experience, and he's well known for having a weird brand of football. Because I don't necessarily completely believe in all this, the need championship experience. Because there's been loads of managers that have come over and done wonders. But to go for someone who's well known for having a style of football that is very intricate, and it's probably either going to work or it isn't. I can't see why he was the prime candidate in the first place. And I mean, bar that little 3-game winning run we had, it's just been an absolute shit show. Do you know what I mean? Like, just all the results. And I mean, the one thing, we obviously got them points, but can you imagine where we'd be now? Because we have been consistently crap under Walter. We just had that little flash in the pan of 9 points. We'd be below Plymouth. Do you know what I mean? And it's that little mistake in the summer that's absolutely killed us. And going for Sellers, he is the man to take us forward. And I love Ruben Sellers. But watching us now, we're winning games, but God, there's still a lot of work to do on the pitch, isn't there?
Yeah.
Just
do you think?
Go on.
Are you concerned about relegation, or do you think with Sellers you're going to be?
I'm fair. No. Yeah. There is a concern. But at the same time, I think we've got enough quality. And the thing that I've said repeatedly on my TikTok is, obviously, we've got Adjun, and Adjun, he's got his faults, but you can't say the man isn't willing to spend. And he's willing to listen when it comes to crunch time. Do you know what I mean? We were screaming out for a left back at the end of the January transfer window, so he went and got Ryan Giles and spent four and a half mil on him. Do you know what I mean? So there is part of him that
just
listens.
an out on loan as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's meant to be leaving today. I don't know if that is just.
Yeah, it's on Twitter. Yeah, it's gone.
Is it a loan or is it a buy?
A loan, it says.
But
Ryan Giles has joined Middlesbrough on loan.
It's just not. It's not going well, is it? But I think he's the man to take us forward. And my thesis is right. Adjun has got all these billionaire friends, and he's very well known. He's meant to be this big mogul in Turkey. I feel like the way a lot of these rich people see the clubs, then he's not going to want to go to his billionaire friends who also own football clubs and have just got his relegated for being incapable of his job. Do you know what I mean? So I believe that we'll be all right, but I think it is going to come down to the final day. Because I think our recruitment, I've been actually happy with this transfer window. I think Matt Crooks is a fantastic signing. It's very unlike Hull City to do the normal thing. And to get in a championship experience midfielder, sound. And it looks like we're going for Charlie Taylor at Southampton. Well happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, the only weird one, it's been that Nordin Amrabat. I wouldn't have seen that coming in.
Is that done? Is that a done deal then? That?
Yeah, he played against Millwall.
Oh, did it? How did he get on?
He's lost his legs. but
I watched it. You look like me, just like old, bald, and struggling.
Yeah, exactly. Someone when he was lining up against QPR, I said to me, "Mum, it looks like the liner." Do you know what I mean? He's got all this gear on. But yeah, I tell you what, he puts himself about, and he's still got graft, and he was just being an absolute nuisance. But on the ball, that's where bit weird.
Yeah, you've got a nice easy game tomorrow night, Joe. Do you want one of those jackets for tomorrow night, mate? So when you're doing your watch along.
I know, yeah, I'll be there, man. Honestly, I hope they can get something against Sheffield United, but
I think the thing is, I think we will. I think
really?
We will. We'll put on that shocking display, second half display against QPR at our place. Everyone knows in the Championship how to play at our place, or we wouldn't have lost every other game there. Do you know what I mean? But away from home, that seems to be our bread and butter.
Yeah, you're 11th away table, mate. I've just flicked it on. Yeah,
we're not too bad. But the thing is, we're relying on that, and it's not sustainable in the slightest.
I don't know, but do you think you can? So you think you can get a result? What score prediction are we looking at?
Oh, don't do that to me. Well, I tell you what, just for the fact that we don't score, that we don't look like we're going to score goals, I'd say 1-1.
1-1. You'd imagine maybe Tom Cannon might come straight in, Ben Brayton, Diaz. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Because Tom Cannon, he's been playing all season, so it's not like they don't need to get his legs going, do they? They can just bang him straight in. But
Joe, what about Geldart? What can Geldart bring to Hull, mate? What do you think?
Just that bite down the right hand side, just that directness. And I was on a stat table a couple of weeks ago when he was first linked, and it's his bread and butter is he normally gets in the final third 4 to 6. He wins possession 4 to 6 times in the opponent's half, but then he's not much of a finisher, and he's quite good at creating chances. That's kind of the two standout things of his game. So I'd say it's terrying people. Do you know what I mean? Because we are where we are for a reason. We're not going to be playing slick, silky football. Do you know what I mean? We're going to have to hound people and win that ball in their half and prey on mistakes.
Joe, do you think it's got any future at Leeds, mate, or do you think? No, obviously, if you go, even if you stay down, mate, which I'm not.
I just can't see it. Yeah, no. He's. I feel a bit sorry for Joffrey because he had so much promise, mate. Obviously. Because he's Scouser and he's stocky, everyone said he's like Wayne Rooney. It's quite funny because I forget who the commentator is. What's his name on Sky Sports? When he scored that goal for Hull on Sky Sports, they were saying, "Oh, he's a bit like Wayne Rooney." I was like, "We need to be rid of this because he's not Wayne Rooney. Like,
let's
just
leave
because
that
he's
in 2024.
Yeah, exactly. That's what. So he came with so much promise, much like Sam Greenwood did, and some others that we signed, Sonny Perkins. But we paid next to nothing for him. If we can get a fee for him, it's happy days, because we only paid compensation because he came through at Wigan, didn't he? But he's just never really had an opportunity, Cossie. So I feel a bit sorry for him. Obviously, we'll always remember that goal he scored against Norwich. That was a massive goal in the last minute, Rafinha assist. It's quite insane, actually, when you consider Rafinha, who could be on for Ballon d'Or this year, was assisting Joffrey, who's just gone on loan to Hull.
I watch Spanish football every week, mate. That guy is the best player in the world.
Insane,
at the moment.
Yeah,
I'm not having that bollocks about, Mo Salah. He's been playing well, but mate, he's on fire, man. I can't believe it.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, it's
but
insane.
Just to add on what you were saying as well, Joe, I think that we're bargaining on the fact that you lot are going to go up, because I think we're going to try and get him permanent in the summer, but we didn't want any obligation just because of the fees that may or may not.
Play in League One, though, mate, does it? You won't want to play in League One.
Yo, cheer up. No chance.
No, I think the thing is with them as well, with Joffrey, with Sam Greenwood, who was at Preston, Sonny Perkins, who it took us ages to get him alone. They got brought in as Premier League youth prospects, so they're on Premier League youth prospect wages. Do you know what I mean? We took Sonny Perkins from West Ham, Sam Greenwood came from Arsenal, and then Joffrey, obviously, we got from Wigan, but we got him ahead of quite a few Premier League clubs who were looking at him at the time. So that's the only sticking point with them, I think, is that they'll be used to decent wages and they're going to have to take a pay cut. You know what I mean? So,
that Rafinha, I found a bit of his. Did you see that first goal when it come off his head? Like when at Benfica the other night, there were a bit of his head in White Rose Centre this afternoon. I just picked it up, mate. I tell you what, it was incredible with that. I'm surprised he ain't unconscious or it was just one of the weirdest goals. They were like fluffies, they're like 50 yards, did it? That just sums him up at the moment. But I know it's not to do with White Rose now, but he's on fire, mate.
Yeah, definitely. One of the best players to ever play for the football club, which is Have
you still got any sell-on clauses and stuff, Joe, on him?
I think there might be. I think someone was saying there might be some sort of mad clauses in there, but I don't know. I know, but people were saying don't let Pep get hold of him because he'll ruin him, man. He'll be cutting inside and.
Plus, he don't want to play National League next year, does he? So no,
that's true. There you go. Righteous One says if he wins Champions League, we get 10 million. There you go. So
mate, don't rule that out. Honestly, it's a pleasure to watch. I could talk about him all day. Do a different pod. Get me on. I'll chat with you, mate.
He's mad, and I'll never, because the mad thing is when we beat Brentford on the last day to stay up that season, he got on his knees and walked the full length of the pitch just saying a prayer. And what it was is apparently that's like as a thank you. So he'd prayed and that the night before, even though he knew he was on his way to Barca. So I thought that was quite. And I'm assuming you might have seen on social media the images when he was in the crowd as well with his missus, and we just stayed up on.
Was that when he was injured?
No, he'd scored that game and then gone into the crowd after.
He made me realise I need to go to gym. That's my takeaway from that. Stop eating these biscuits from farm foods, mate.
He was.
I hope you had a ticket.
Gonna say, mate, if it were Chancery, you'd actually be calling that in, wouldn't you? Be saying, right, you owe me some money for a ticket.
Without your wages.
Right, let's talk some League One, Matt. I'm so glad to see you. Yeah, exactly. From Champions League Rafinha to League One, it's brilliant.
Malik Wilkes in League One.
Yeah. Do you know what though? Steve Evans has been talking about the playoffs, and then since we've spoke, you haven't lost in a few, Matt. You're flying, man. Let's go.
We've won 3 since we last did an episode. Unbelievable. 3.
Mate, if you crash in the playoffs, we've got to give it to Big Steve. We've got to.
Yeah, we have 7 points off with a game in hand. Next 4 games, we've played 3 of the teams in the relegation zone. So this is a massive opportunity to get properly back in the conversation. We were great. We beat Bolton 3-1 and then beat Charlton 4-2. To be fair, in that game against Charlton, if Charlton got nil, that would have been flattering to them. We were just so dominant against them. And this were a Charlton team that weren't beaten in 5 or 6, something like that. They were in a good little bit of form, and we just took them apart. Setup that he's got in with pace up top, pace and power up top with Malik Wilkes and Andre Green had to come in on Saturday. Team just can't deal with it. They just don't know what to do with themselves. They used against Steve Evans, you play a high line against Johnson Clark Harris and you're fine. They're trying to do that against Malik Wilkes and Andre Green. It's just great to watch. Best football we've seen at Rotherham since Paul Warne were here, which is 3 or 4 years, whatever it's been. There's, when you feel your team kind of turns a corner, you can feel something building. That's where we are at the minute. It just feels like something's happening. And, if we could lose to Burton on Saturday, things might feel very, very different. Mm-hmm. But at the minute, it does feel like something's turned, and whether the players are finally playing for Evans or whether they've just got a bit of camaraderie together because they just don't like him, I don't know. But we have changed. The players are happy. You can see it, again. You can see it in players when you've had players in your team. You can just see when they click as a team. And yeah, we're in the conversation, and that's all I wanted really from where we were. Let's be in conversation. We're absolutely the 5th and 6th spot is wide open. Top 4 is sealed up. Huddersfield, Wrexham, Wickham, and Birmingham will be the top 4, but those last 2 spots are wide open, and we could get one of them. I can't believe I'm saying that from where we were a month ago.
It's brilliant because, to be fair, Steve Evans, he has been saying it, hasn't he? So, and some of the best football you've seen. That's big praise indeed, mate. Since Paul Warne, anyway. Have you been active in the transfer market and that as well? Then
I didn't even know transfer market was. Well, we're open. I don't think we're bothering. We don't need it. Not yet. I think we're linked with some kid from Sheffield United. We're desperate for players. We've got 17 fit first teamers at the minute. We are absolutely desperate, and there's questions mark whether the club's trying to cut the cloth. But Steve Evans is talking up. Steve Evans is saying he wants 3 or 4 more players.
Right, you don't need a striker, do you? It's called Ladapo, mate. It's available. It's just up M1, man.
Is it? You can keep him. You can be, mate.
Right. What about Bamford? I'll say, Joe. What about Bamford?
Exactly, mate. You can take him. He's injured again, man, till mid-Feb, but you can have him for after that.
I bet Steve Evans knows him. Paddy, I mean, man.
He does, yeah.
I've already been on phone to him. Yeah, exactly. Well, I've had a chat with Sir Alex, and he's recommended that. He already knows that well.
I expected him to be with that Dennis Law tribute overnight, when he went on pitch. Steve coming on. I saw Dennis in Woodall Services, mate, back in 2000. You bought me a burger.
Brilliant, man. Brilliant. No, honestly, though, Matt, every time I keep checking and I'm like, get in, I'm buzzing for you. So it'd be great if you made a late crash into the playoffs, and then Cossie, we might get an all Yorkshire playoff final, or are you still chasing down the top 2, mate?
Mate, I think we're going to get second. Honestly, this is all going to be clipped out when we don't even get in playoffs now later on. I know how these things work, Joe, but mate, we haven't lost since October the 3rd, but we've made a couple of proper signings, like strikers that we've got about 8 strikers, Joe. It's embarrassing, but the guys we've had before just haven't done the job, like Ladapo. But yeah, we nicked a guy off Bolton who we're playing on Saturday, Dion Charles. He's a different kind of striker to us, one of those old up guys, really, and brings people in. He's one of those horrible people to mark.
Proper player, Dion Charles. We were after him a couple of years ago.
So we're chuffed with that. And then we've got, you mentioned, he's managed with like Craig Bellamy, really, a little guy called Joe Taylor. I've mentioned him a long time, but we've been after him for ages. And he's got a right goal at Blackpool on Saturday. He's one of those, he did nothing else but score, but isn't that what the striker's all about? And to me, Joe, like almost with them signings, it's almost like you ain't signing them signings to get 5th. I think it's there for us. There's some massive games coming up, mate. None more so tonight than. To be honest, I don't know if Sky's going to have cameras facing the pitch or the stand, but it's Wrexham and Birmingham again, isn't it? So I don't know who's going to be coming in. Kim Basinger might be in Stadium or Beckham and all his family. But for us, that's huge, mate. And then we've got Bolton on Saturday or Birmingham on Tuesday, which is what was a massive, massive game, as Paul Merson would say. But that's big, mate, because we had a statement win at Wickham. God, can you believe them words are all together? But that's what League One is, man. You've got to look at the table. But we had a big win at Wickham, and I'm waiting for that kind of big first statement win at home, even though we haven't lost for like 16 games. You're kind of getting by with odd goal wins and draws here. So, but it's all looking good, mate. We're getting his players back from injury. This is football, innit, though? It always comes back to bite you on the arse as Bolton get the third on Saturday. But they obviously sacked their manager on Wednesday in Everett. I think we mentioned it the other week, didn't we, when they were like, disgusting some of the stuff that's been said. Yeah, which, to be honest, though, back in the day, be like, oh my God, it's bad for us. There's a new manager coming in and all that. But I'm a bit like you, Joe. I'm a bit cocky, but it's almost like you're believing in your team now. I believe in the group. I believe in his manager, mate. I think it's fantastic.
What do you mean about cocky? Like, where have you got that from? Like,
no, man, but like you're like we're better than them and stuff. It's getting to that kind of stage. We've got Wickham at home. We've got Birmingham and Wrexham to come at home. We've got everything's like there. I suppose you'd say the pressure's on, but we've got such a big squad. I think one of his problems might be just keeping the players keen. Who's kind of, we've had that many injuries that everyone's kind of played a part. Which I think last season when we were falling out of the championship, there was so much infighting and people not getting on. I think it's pretty good what he's done, mate. But there's a few kind of not critics of Duff, but have said, well, hang on a minute, mate. We've got the best squad outside instead of Birmingham and us are the best squad, so we should be there. But I don't think people get what a bit of a shit show the place was when we went down. It was a shambles, mate. And, obviously there were people like Sorba, Thomas apparently causing a bit of bother behind the scenes. He left and stuff. So to be where we are now, mate, it's just kind of like big. So these two striker signings, I don't know if the League One could ever be exciting because, it's still kind of not great to watch. But I honestly don't think League One is, you don't get many exciting stuff in League One. I just remember last time when we went up. But it's kind of a big few days now for us as well. And Wrexham, Birmingham, we're playing Birmingham. And I think Birmingham are maybe away and gone. But tonight, probably got my Birmingham shirt on, which I can't believe I'm saying that. It'd probably be better if they win, to be honest, Joe. And then we can maybe climb over Wrexham if we win on Saturday. Then we're up to third. But Wickham, just when you think they're diving down, they've lost a few loan players, though. So, and obviously the manager's gone to Luton. But I don't think they can still be written off. But, I found a bit... you should back a team, shouldn't you? If you haven't lost since October the 3rd, 16 unbeaten, you've just signed two great strikers, one from like a playoff rival, then you should be confident. But honestly, mate, I think we'll get second, mate. I do. But this is not like me because the last few years doing any podcast, it's been about staying up, relegation. Apart from that miracle season where Corbyn nearly got us in the Premier League. But I'll just breathe now, mate.
Can I ask you, Joe? What are your you mentioned?
I'm still here, yeah. Sorry, I was
your thoughts on him?
Oh no, sorry. Thomas,
yeah. We've agreed a fee with you guys, but it's getting held up because he's on loan to Nantes, isn't it?
France, yeah. Does he stay in the south of France, or does he go to Hull? That is the question. Yeah. This is where does it?
What the sales for a patty?
Mate, exactly. Is there any chip spice in Nantes? I don't think there is, mate. So he's got to come to Yorkshire for it, doesn't it? But you know what, mate? Is honestly that season when we nearly amazingly got in the Premier League, he were unbelievable, man. He were almost like a special point man in NFL where he basically just set everything up from corners and free and dead balls. I don't think there were anyone doing more assists in that season, and don't get me wrong, it's a bit more than that. But honestly, but all you heard last season was when the chips were down, he were a bad influence and this, that, and the other, and Hudson couldn't kind of wait to get out there. But Blackburn will tell you the same and that as well. I don't think he would like to all buy Thomason when they got him in on loan. But in the situation you're in, when Leeds must still win your games, mate. But it'll be interesting to see because I heard that. But it's like nonsense. We won't kind of getting in. All of a sudden, he is getting in that team. So it'll be fascinating thing. But apparently, we can't recall him back. But it's up to, I think the ball's in Nantes, which is really weird. When it's
realistically, we're going to have to go and tap them up and do a bit of that, aren't we? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
get them on side.
Yeah. So not underhand stuff, but. No, it's interesting, but I can't lie. It's quite weird to see. When a table comes up and it's got them, you don't have to wait for the second bit of it to see your team. It's quite weird seeing that. I know we have to wait for a bit of League One. Yeah, and we've got another beautiful 12:00 kickoff today on Saturday. Honestly, mate, just don't get. Honestly, I just think it's disgraceful these games. But people in Britain just accept it, innit? We're going to have this forevermore now, aren't we? These. 2 games each for each division. I know, Joe, you're on Monday night, aren't you, again? Leeds on 3 o'clock. You've had a few, but it's,
we have. What's the whole 12:15 kick-off thing in FA Cup? That's a weird one as well. We kick off at 12:15 against Millwall.
I thought that might be 5 in the morning once it was drawn against Millwall. But it's weird because their away followings are it's a bit overhyped, that game, isn't it? Because I don't think Millwall ever bring anyone, do they, when I've seen them come to Yorkshire?
No. They never came, mate, since, I forget which year it was, when they smashed up first.
Yeah, buses, I remember them buses getting done.
Right said Fred in windows, didn't they? If you see all pictures of them two baldies at top, man.
But I mean, Sky got a game on. I mean, that Wrexham Birmingham game is a Thursday night. It just seems to me now, fans forget it, mate. We pay the bills. You come to the games, and I've noticed them Sunday night kickoffs. I know I bought everyone to death saying this all the time, but I'm just amazed how England we just accept it now, don't we? We're just like, we're not asked. We just play whenever.
We need to be like the French, mate. French, get out and revolt, man. Get on the streets and that. Or the Germans more so as well when it comes to football fandom, because we're an absolute nightmare, aren't we? We just take it lying down, unfortunately. But like you said, I was listening to some... Go on, mate.
Tony Mowbray, I just want to mention that. And honestly, mate, what a fantastic story. It's brilliant, isn't it, in football, where it's normally a shit show. And I think he's probably West Brom will be everyone's favourite second team now, I think, because it's amazing. It's not... For me, it's not even just a cancer thing. It's just like he's always been a good guy in as well. And I remember that West Brom team that went up with that season when he was there. It was unbelievable. Kevin Phillips, Zoltan Gino playing football like off the scale, man. And they went up with about 100 points, might be goals or something. But it's just amazing that it's gone back. And I love it, mate. And that as well. It's quite emotional. That press conference for an emotional watch, wasn't it, the other day, mate?
Yeah, he's a good guy, and he's really good at developing players as well. He needs to be fair to him. So they
play to win and they play to attack. Good football, man. Mate. Like
he had Amid Giallo, didn't he, at Sunderland? And look at him now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So he's doing.
Joe, how are you seeing your Championship? Because it's just again, it's like it just feels a pivotal weekend coming up there, Joe. I still think you'll go up anyway, but the pressures are massively on Burnley on Monday night. It's huge. I know they got that win against Plymouth, which kind of maybe were expected. Obviously, not as many goals, but I think Sheffield United. It just feels Sheffield United and Leeds. Burnley beat you. If you get a draw, I think even that's a great result, mate.
Yeah, I said that as well. Look, I was looking at the thing the other day, and I know XG and people get annoyed, but in terms of XG. Burnley are 20th in the division. 20th. You can't get top two creating that lack of chances. If it weren't for their defence, if it weren't for James Trafford, more to the point, because Leeds United have actually conceded the least, strikes on goal in the division by a country mile. It's just our keeper's shite, and they've got James Trafford. Do you know what I mean? So I know they've had a lot of clean sheets. They tend to do better away from home because their style suits that. But at home, they don't do well at all. But if you offered me a draw now, Cossie, I'd take it genuinely, because it's another game down and they haven't gained on us. I do like Sunderland, but I just don't think they'll have the depth. I know Enzo Lafi's a great signing, but I'm not quite sure they'll have the depth. And I can't get away from Leeds United and Sheffield United, to be honest. Burnley are decent, but they'll get promoted. Parker will get sacked again. It's rinse and repeat. He's done this with Bournemouth. He's done it with Fulham. He's never won the league, has he? And did he take Bournemouth up through the? No, it was Fulham he took up through the playoffs. They beat Brentford that season, didn't they? So I don't know. I just feel they'll finish third and get playoffs. Famous last words, but I just don't think a team can get top. I know. For that guy across the Pennine said, champions are built on great defences and all that sort of stuff, but you need to also score goals. And yes, like people remember, thought they didn't score enough goals, Joe, after they put 5 past one of the worst Championship teams ever. It's not that, let's not write home about it. We played Derby at home, genuinely. Probably the worst team we've played. The week after, they go to Burnley and get a 0-0 draw. Derby are terrible. Genuinely, they are absolutely terrible. So I just think Burnley will. Go on, mate.
Just hope your players turn up, mate. Like Morgan Whitaker couldn't be arsed last night against Burnley, could he? So you got any? But can you believe? Well, you can,
That's
can't you?
madness,
That's football,
isn't it?
isn't it?
That's
You can
mental.
believe it, though, can't you?
Modern
I don't want to get
football,
injured. I want my move. He'll get his move and all, won't he? It will happen. That's football, isn't it? It's bollocks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine doing that in your job tomorrow. I can't the ass.
I'm not coming in. I got a message on LinkedIn from another company.
Yeah. All right, mate.
But
Yeah, come
do you know
in when you're
what?
all right.
Do you know what, mate? From a Leeds United perspective, Mano Solomon, arguably one of the best players in the league, shouldn't be playing in Championship. He's absolutely phenomenal. We've got players like Ramazani, who was scoring against Real Madrid last season, coming off the bench. You know, we should be up there. We've just had press conference today as well. Managers talking about free signings, about centre-back, talking about a number 10. We've been linked to Emi Buendia. Obviously, he's wanted by the Liga clubs. I think he'll end up going there. But if he doesn't, imagine Emi Buendia back in this division, man. He was just playing Champions League football the other night. So, and then we're after a striker as well, which means probably Paddy Bamford's finally played his last game for Leeds United. So that'll be interesting as well. But Burnley next the way. Yeah, go on, mate.
Joe, what a weird window. Joe. I don't know if it's my imagination, but when that window was introduced, it's been going a lot of years now. That January, I seem to think there was a lot of stuff done early on, but as the years passed, absolutely sod all. But maybe that's just my imagination and bad memory getting old. But it's nothing. It's just all shadow boxing at the moment, isn't it? He's just like
done it do you, Reading as well? All the paper talk when you I think we did 6 last deadline day. I think it's just madness.
Wow,
the overall on a screen, it's just stupid.
I think there's more on Premier League clubs doing their business to be able to let fringe players, younger players out as well to lower leagues. So, and that's where it gets to the last week because if Premier League clubs have decided, you're just waiting for that first club to blink, and then it's a chain reaction of moves. But when you're desperate for players, and it gets to the 12th hour on transfer deadline,
Not only that, Championship, the games are coming thick and fast, aren't they? Like, while all these talks are going on,
3 games.
Well, if you're an Hull City fan anyway, you could have dropped 9 points. Like, you know what I mean? So, you just want to get it done, don't you? But when you've got a game on a Saturday, a Tuesday, maybe then a Friday as well, you just need to get them in straight away, don't you? Because I was looking at the table today, and then I thought, who are our next 5 games? And then I scrolled down a bit, and season's finished. And you're thinking, fuck, still down here. You know?
Derby County. I think they're in deep doodle.
I think we're lucky that there's 3 very shit teams this season.
Yeah,
Paul Warren, I'm worried for him, mate. I feel that breaking news is going to come on any old day for him, mate. I like him, he's a good guy, but you'll like him, won't you, Matt?
Chucked a couple of his players under the bus as well, hasn't he, in these last 2 months, and that's not the way to go, is it?
No,
you won't get Steve Evans doing that.
I've just seen on Twitter that Talkshy have just said that Tom Cleverley is going to get the sack and they're 1 point off the playoffs.
I've seen that. I've seen that.
And what did we say last season about? We're at Birmingham, weren't it?
Yeah, exactly.
We talked about it. It was just like
Neil Warnock. Warnock's coming back. You know it.
No, it's
no.
I seen it earlier. Spanish guy, because it'll be him. Yeah, honestly, it'll go tits up, man. Why do that?
They love drama at Watford, don't they? They're unbelievable.
Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense, does it? No sense at all.
But they'll go up. That's what Watford do. They'll get promoted or something. DD, it'll be like that.
Any team that's starting winger is Tom Ince, and you're in the chat for playoffs. Like,
exactly.
I'd be giving him a key to Watford. I won't be sacking him.
It is mad, isn't it?
Won't want
to find them, it is being replaced by former Villarreal manager Jose Rojo Martin, known as Pacheta. It's claimed the Spaniard will, he'll be given major finances to get them back to the Premier League. Why not just give it Tom?
Why did he give him Cleverly? Why has he got Tom Ince on his right wing?
It's defensive football. They don't like going forward him, so
God.
Mad.
Stupid, isn't it?
We love it. We love it, though. We love it. Gives Joe all his watch-alongs and stuff, all these breaking. Just needs his Wi-Fi at 2G now. We just want his face back, mate. It might not be him. It could be a fake. Could be a prize here. Just been
Is
to
it
Edison.
sketchy still, or is it all right?
No,
it's always
All
been
right now,
sketchy,
yeah.
mate.
Yeah.
It's always been sketchy.
I'll tell you what, by the way, while we're talking about other topics, Chris Woodman just got a new deal at Forest.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought it, man?
Wow.
Mental.
Unbelievable.
Crazy.
I tell you what, I have it on good authority as well that he was looking at him and his family were looking at leaving at the start of this season. It's just mental, and for him to be doing what he's doing now, and he's got no signs of slowing down, has he? So fair play.
Nearly 10 years ago we were at Leeds. I remember that promotion season he scored against us.
Yeah.
Like, but yet he scored a other week, didn't he, to win? It's like, fair play. Good, gives a good example to us all. It doesn't matter how old you are, it's how good you are, man.
Yeah, I never forget because I was actually in Sunderland, but I didn't live in Sunderland at the time. We were playing him in the FA Cup, I think, and on that morning he'd done like a letter to fans saying this is when he was going to Burnley, like I can't play, etc. You know, that bullshit. I remember being in pub going, "There fucking turncoat."
Joe, it looks like you should be doing a cooking show, like that side of the kitchen or something there. Yeah. So have you got your pans out there?
No man. Yeah. To be fair, the clock were wrong earlier, and someone went, "Joe, your clock's wrong." I said, "Oh, I'll get that sorted, man."
They're only saying that because they want us to finish because we've run over 7 o'clock. But
It's been a great show. It's been a great show, to be fair. So as I said, Yorkshire team's on the rise. You've got Chef Wednesday looking for the playoffs. Leeds going to win the league. Blades second. We've got Rotherham up towards the playoffs. Gossie's getting top 2, and then Ryan and Hull getting out of the relegation zone. Yeah, man, it's good times. Lads, any final thoughts? Anything anyone wants to share before we do?
No, Tottenham are 2-0 up, but they've just given a penalty away, so they're going to lose 3-2. But Big Ange will get another 10-year contract. Yeah.
They're calling
I'll tell you what,
it's
worth just speaking about that quick as well, isn't it? Like that, sacking him is not going to make anything better, is it?
No, I don't think it will either. I agree.
Just shambles.
Yeah. I've seen someone calling him the Brisbane Bielsa, which did make me laugh, to be fair. The Brisbane Bielsa.
You know what, though?
But he is very much wedded to his principles, didn't he?
Yeah. Don't you just think, though, that media, because he's a nice guy and I love his press conference, but I just think if he would have kind of someone that I didn't come across well, I think media would be after him, but because he talks well, it's like, he wouldn't solve anything. And you're right, but if that were another kind of foreign manager who'd that didn't come across as well and as a character, they'd be wanting him out. The brutal at press, I just think you just...
Well, I tell you what, you just have to look at Bielsa. Because he didn't speak English. Yeah. But they also didn't speak English, and they go, well, he don't even speak English, but he did, but not to the press because the wankers, you know what I mean? He knows.
He did in that Derby press conference, Joe, didn't he, when he found them spying?
Brilliant. Yeah, man, we're all going good, aren't we? Hull will stay up, everyone will get promoted, and happy days. Yeah, man, let's do it.
That's happening.
Right. I think
Joe,
we
good
will...
luck with your cooking.
Cheers, mate. Cheers. I just actually had, Cossicks, I know you like your food. I'll ask me sausage mashed peas and gravy, which is a nice steak.
Well played, Joe.
Yeah.
That's very
Pork and apple sausages from Lidl. They were absolutely...
Any pudding, Joe? Rice pudding, brownies, anything? Ice cream?
I don't know. There might be some ice cream in freezer. We'll have a look, I did buy some biscuits earlier on, actually. Treat cupboards here. So I bought milk.
Look at all red. Look at all red on that, Joe. Simply red, mate. McCucknell's playing.
I wouldn't have thought Joe
Simply red.
I wouldn't have like Joe would like that much red on his food. You know,
oh mate. Listen, I've worn red stuff before and I get griefed all the time, but yeah, it's not that deep for me. I hate them, but I will if there's some people who won't have a red car or a red thing or red this. I'm like, listen, it's not that deep. I hate them, but not to that point. But yeah.
Joe, so
anyway,
just before I go quickly, so I said Tottenham conceded penalties. It took 5 minutes for VAR to make a decision. Now it's been ruled out, but VAR Get out.
Are you saying that they're trying to get it in the Championship as well?
Yeah.
Mental,
mate.
Wow.
I'm staying in League One. Joe, I'm changing my mind. We're finishing 7th.
I tell you what, that's the silver lining for Hull City going down. That's my silver lining.
With the state of officiating, though, in the Championship, they'll get that 10 times even worse than it already is, man.
Yeah.
They're so bad in the
yes,
Champo.
won't it? Like, just doing
Yeah.
it.
Did you see the Sunderland goal the other night that got chalked off for no reason at all? Like, the ref gave it,
Awful.
the line-up didn't flag, and then they went, yeah, it's off. I was like, what? What's going on? It was crazy.
We've had that Sam Allison a couple of times with absolutely shocking decisions, and we've got him on Saturday in QPR, or he's supposed to be down for Saturday. I don't know if he'll get stood down or out for that decision, but he's not been the best ref for us.
No. They're shite, aren't they? They're absolutely shite.
But that is just all. That's not just digging him out personally. It's been shocking officiating from quite a few refs all season. So.
It's funny because Paul O'Keefe, who's I think he's the Athletic Tottenham reporter, put that's never a penalty ever, absolute farce, and then he's put refs a fucking helmet. Just while we're talking about it, so there you go, on point. Right, folks, I think we'll finish there. I'm back at 8 o'clock actually for the final word with Jack, Luke, and Andrea. Make sure you go check out the Wednesday week. No. Yes, it is that. I was going to call you the Chef Wednesday way then, but that's, let's not do that. That's Hal's channel. Make sure you go check out To Hull and Back. Ryan, you mentioned TikTok as well. Is that your general?
Yeah, that's my bread and butter, that. Ryan.Frankish3.
There you go. Go over and check Ryan.Frankish3 out. Hopefully we'll have him back. It's been a great guest. Matt as well on New York Talk, and Matt's even had Steve Evans on his pod, so you need to go watch that, man. He's getting all the stars on New York Talk. And then Cossie as well on He Takes That Chance. That's the one. Yeah, He Takes That Chance. Right, we'll leave it there and we'll let Cossie go first, and then we'll go.
Cheers, guys. Hasta la vista, guys.